Hello and welcome to my 2 of 2 video showing my handmade goth fashion of the early and mid 2000s in pictures that were part of my portfolio for application to art school. So let's go. On the left hand side is a dress I made inspired by a classmate's prom dress. I think her dress was really brightly colored, but I went with material that I had at home, which was obviously dark. So this is a black PVC upper part. So it's higher up on the front and a bit lower in the back, kind of quite a deep neckline. And I added these eyelets just for decorative reasons. And there were eyelets on the back. And then the skirt part of the dress is like an A-line in dark blue shiny fabric. Some type of satin, I imagine. I guess synthetic. I'd never wore this, but I just really love that girl's dress, so I thought I'd try to make something like it myself. As I probably said in the previous video, I used to work quite like rushed. I just get really focused and want to do it like in one sitting. These days I would take more time, probably do a toile, like a mock-up out of calico fabric, just to get a perfect fit. Yeah, sadly I never wore it. I guess I just never found the right event for it. Moving on to the right is an outfit I actually did wear. So it's sort of like a fairy inspired outfit made of black crushed stretch velvet. So it's just a tank top within the armholes scraps of different types of black fabric stitched in, and the skirt is made of scrap fabrics too. So I just saved all these black scraps that I had. Some were larger than others, so you can see here like crushed velvet, and there's so this is like crushed stretch velvet, and then there's some lace possibly here, and there will be some mesh and some black velvet, maybe some satin. So this is like the parts that I use to make this skirt differ in length. So the shortest is probably about knee length, but some of the longest pieces are almost like at my ankles. And I paired this with a metal wire frame wings that my dad helped me make. So he must have made the frame for me. This is a long time ago. This is probably 2004 is my guess. So yeah, I think this was a sort of copper color wire frame that came together in like a rectangular shape on the back. There was obviously another wing. And I put just thick black tights over it, and then used acrylic paint to paint on some details. And you can see, if you would look closely, I used like acrylic yarn around the edge to fix the tights in place around the metal frame. And I'm wearing my black army boots here in the picture on the right. On the left hand side, I think I'm wearing high heels, like black patent high heel sandals. On this slide you can see 3 different outfits, although the top on the left is the same as the top in the center picture. So it's a long sleeve satin top that I made and actually did wear. So it's just like this princess pattern. So there's some side panels that create the shape on the bust, and then like a round neckline. And here on the front I put some black lace with some decorative ribbons. I think it's like this. It's difficult to see because the pictures are not amazing quality. And then with a straight sleeve up to the elbow, and then sort of, yeah, like a bell sleeve from the elbow down, which I gathered here on the outside of the underarm. So that's here, and finished with black lace, and possibly also some decorative band. I think I have another picture further down so we can see more detail there, and just some pleated fabric here at the hem. On the left hand side I'm wearing a corset style top, so this has no boning at all, that's why it wrinkles quite a lot, and a black zipper in front. Yeah, I really disliked working with you know, like PVC. because the moment you've stitched it once, you've got holes in it that will remain visible even if you undo the thread of the stitching. It's just like with leather. If you have a woven material, you can usually just undo the stitching and then you can't really see that it's been stitched before because the holes would within the fibers will just close back up. But that's not the case with leather and PVC. Rubber you should not really stitch at all. You should be gluing that. Although I have seen people sew, like stitch rubber. So yeah, I've not really worn this top that much. Also, I remember it was very sweaty because it just traps all the humidity in there. On the left hand side is a skirt I made and I actually wore loads. So this is black velvet, like an A-line skirt, and up to about halfway down my shin there's black satin pleated, like gathered here at the hem of the velvet part of the skirt. And there's also a velvet band here and then lace, but you can't see it because the quality of the picture is quite low. But again, there might be a picture further down, I'm not quite sure. And I'm wearing my Hex platform boots here, which I must have mentioned in my previous video. These were awesome. So these were like knee-length black leather platform boots with a zipper on the inside of the leg, I think. And I wore those a lot until they broke. Now onto the picture in the center. So I'm wearing the same top as the previous, like the picture on the left. But there's I'm wearing a hoop skirt here with an overskirt made of really thin fabric. So I think this was actually lining fabric. So it's just an A-line skirt, which is like longer than shown here because I've gathered it on the seams with some elasticated band that you stitch in either in a tunnel that's on the back side, like the inside of the garment, or just elastic that you stretch out, like you fix it here at one point and then at the bottom, then you stretch it out and then just stitch. And you would usually stitch in like a zigzag like this. It's like a lingerie stitch. So this is quite a good one. And there's some pleated fabric and band on the hem just for decorative purposes. And then underneath it, I'm wearing a black sort of underskirt, which is also just satin, but with lace gathered the bottom sort of 20 centimeters, I would say. And then underneath here is a hoop skirt. And that would actually have been a wide skirt, so like a bridal undergarment, because I bought that at a secondhand shop. So that just creates shape without like collapsing because there's a bone in the bottom. There's also hoop skirts that have more than one bone, so they might have three, some even have more. But the sort of typical one just has a bone here at the bottom. Now onto the right picture. So this is sort of medieval-ish inspired dress. I've not worn this, so it's made of red satin with a black velvet panel on the front, decorated with black lace and then some decorative band here. The sleeves are the same, very similar actually as the picture on the left. So it's just straight up to the elbow and then it flares out a little bit only here and gathered slightly at the cuff with black bias binding. This was just a fun project, just, you know, for practicing my skills. I've not worn it actually. Now on to the next. So in this picture you can see a hat I made for a competition at my local library. So I think this was around 2003, 2004 actually, probably. So this was inspired by Marilyn Manson's costume in the Golden Age of Grotesque's artwork. So he's wearing a red suit with a top hat with this lace detailing. So I took it to the extreme and created more of like a body shape, like a body in corset shape with a more narrow quote waist. A basque closure, so this thing is called a basque. So this is a metal boning with metal kind of hooks on it, and the back or the side, however you wanted to wear it, has this lace detailing with velvet behind it, because I didn't want to have like an open plan hat, and satin ribbon for lacing. So sadly I didn't win. I still like remember looking at the submissions for this competition, and I think a hat that might have won was like chicken wire with some dried foliage on it. So I don't know. I guess I just didn't get it. But it was fun to take part in a competition and just try something a little different. So inside the brim of the hat is a plastic sheeting of some sort, which, I mean, you can see it doesn't really fit properly. Like there's creasing here and there's this sort of waving, which like buckling, which was not intentional. So yeah, these days I think I would use multiple layers of fabric and like fusible interfacing, I think is called, like the stuff that you just iron and then it sticks on, just to create rigidity in the brim. But this is what was accessible to me at the time, so it was a good and a fun experience. These pictures you can see two different outfits, sort of, more like an outfit and a half. So in both pictures I'm wearing the same top, so it's like a long sleeve top just from like a mainstream, retailer, which I opened up on the inside, like the arm, and also here on the side seam, and then I stitched on these reflective band. And I remember buying like roadside worker trousers at a secondhand shop, and I still remember they were new, like unworn, and I just undid the stitching that attached these reflective strips to the trousers so that I could use them for my own clothing. This top is like a corset style top from a friend, and she bought it at just a mainstream fashion retailer. But I did make this skirt, so it's like a kind of a fitted skirt around the waist and bum with a zipper in the front, and then a pointed tip towards the front. I forgot what the back looked like. I don't know if it was also like pointed downwards or if that was like straight, but I attached this neon yellow tulle, like this mesh, to the bottom of the mini skirt, essentially creating this sort of maxi skirt with an opening in the front. I never wore this, but I just made it because, why not? On the right hand side, I'm wearing the same top, and I'm wearing this reversible panel skirt that I showed in my first video. So there's neon yellow on one side, and then there's this silver quilted fabric on the other side with elastic bands in the waist and sort of on the hip. And these leg warmers are made by my friend as well. So she was doing a seamstress education, and she was really good. She made like amazing cyber goth clothing. She even had her own little brand, but this is quite a while ago. And here you can see 3 pictures of one outfit I made, and there's a common theme here because I did not wear this outfit ever. So I made this for like a festival, and I wanted to have like a sort of cyber goth style outfit, but in white because it was summer. So I had this stretch fabric. I'm not actually sure what kind of fabric it was. It wasn't lycra or anything like that. It also wasn't, any type of denim. I guess just some type of cotton with like elastane in it. So it was relatively easy to get a fairly comfortable fit. And I also made these leg warmers or leg guards, and is white with blue and black detailing. So I used this sort of neon color blue band to go with my tights, and I created this circular holes that I covered with like this table vinyl, like the thin vinyl you can just, like a tablecloth. And I used that for the top as well. So the front panel of the top is a black quilted fabric, and I created a circle around my belly button because why not? And there's a zipper on the front, and also made this little pocket pouch thingy for just change or whatever. And again, these are my Hex platform boots, so you can see the sole here. So it was kind of chunky, and it was made of real leather, and it had these sort of little holes here. It's difficult to see because the picture is a bit like poor quality, but they were mega comfortable. But I ended up not wearing this because I decided to just wear something else. And here you can see two quite different outfits. On the left, an outfit I fully made myself, so it's kind of like a medieval inspired costume with a cotton loose fitting blouse with long sleeves and a lace, like lacing up detailing on the cuff, which you can't see here. I'm pretty sure there was lacing here somewhere, and the front, at least about halfway down, probably about like here, and a corset style top and the skirt. So the top and the skirt are made of this moss green velvet. And I remember buying a whole bunch of it. It was just like remnants from a shop or on the market. And there was a limited amount of fabric. So for this specific shade of green, I only had what I made here. I could not have made the skirt larger. So the skirt is just an A-line, fairly narrow up to about the knees. And then there's another piece of fabric that is only ever so slightly gathered here. It's extremely minor. You would not be able to really cycle in this skirt, for instance. But the fun thing to make was the top. So it's like an overbust corset style top. So there's metal boning here on the front, so like flat steel boning. You can see a seam here, and then there's another one here. So every piece of the pattern had a scalloped shape hem, and I used black satin fabric to finish the edges. So that was actually quite challenging to do because this hem was so shaped. And then there's a strap for over the shoulders that's tied to the top using lace. Then on the right hand side is a completely different outfit, although also green. So these are sort of like stonewash light green jeans I bought, which I opened up here on the outside seam and then stitched back together, exposing the seam so that this would just fray out and then hopefully kind of matte as you would wash it more often. And I inserted a small piece of other fabric in here in the kind of in the waist hip area to create a bit more space. I also cut the legs open. The right leg is cut open here in the front, and the left leg is cut open on the calf on the back. And I stitched on a black zipper so that you could actually just open and close these cuts in the jeans. I'm wearing suspenders just for decorative reasons, and they were like military stuff. Then the top is a strapless corset style top, but no boning and no lacing either, made from a lightweight jacket from the Dutch Army like surplus store. So I used the press studs, like press stud closure that originally came with that jacket. And here there's some detailing with the press stud as well, and just used like green colored bias binding to finish the top and bottom edge. And I'm wearing just a store-bought black long sleeve with it. And here you can clearly see the Dutch army boots. They were really comfortable and they just last like a million years. And they kind of go with everything. At least I felt like it. Here you can more clearly see the outfit I showed previously. So this is that satin long sleeve top with overskirt and underskirt. So you can see this decorative ribbon here where the lace like meets the satin. So the lace is overlaid actually on the satin. And this is a more clear picture of the sleeve as well. So the sleeve is actually just the same length all around, but I gathered the sleeve on the outside of the lower arm, so it just pulls inwards here because of the gathering. So I think I did that with just like a rubber band that you pull, like you pull out, you stitch it, and then just release, and then it pulls the fabric in like this. And on the right hand side, I'm wearing the same skirt but with a different top. So this is a top with like a decorative sort of neckline, and with long sleeves that are gathered here in the wrist. And yeah, so the part of the bottom of the top is actually just sort of folded over accidentally. So I think this was just to use up some scraps of velvet that I had. And here there's different type of decorative banding but in between the velvet and the satin panel. And yeah, you can see a little bit of my bedroom here, and this is my cool Discman. Some pictures taken in the garden of two different outfits. So on the left, there's a sort of cyber goth style outfit with this top with reflective panels that I showed in one of the previous pictures, and this skirt. It's yeah, like a fitting skirt. I wouldn't even call this A-line because it barely flares out. Made of some kind of black synthetic material with a zipper on the front. And then at the bottom of the skirt is this fluffy green fabric panel with silver color vinyl. Yeah, like a band I created out of that as a sort of transition between the black part of the skirt and the fluffy part of the skirt. The back actually looked exactly the same, minus the zipper. On the right-hand side is a dress quite similar to that red satin dress, one of the previous pictures. So this is a purple satin dress with a velvet panel on the front, also with lace on the edges, but there's more lace here because there's lace on the neckline as well, and lace here on the cuff. There's bias binding on the cuff, and there's actually lining here of the lower part of the inside of the sleeve. So this is black satin in here, and there's more lace actually here. And I've not worn this. I'm pretty positive I've donated this and that red dress like to a secondhand shop a long time ago. I just had so much stuff that I made over the years, and I just couldn't hold on to everything because I moved house quite a lot, and then I moved abroad. And yeah, if you don't wear it, you know, there's not really much point in bringing stuff with you. This was great fun to make, though. I did really like making the clothes with a lot of like embellishments and decorative elements to it. So here you can see two different outfits. The one on the left is made up of quite a few things. So there's tights which are just store-bought. I think everyone's done that, where you just cut a big hole out of the crotch area of the tights, and then you can wear them as a top. Obviously, you want to open the toes as well, otherwise you can't use your hands. But I made these sleeves that I'm wearing over it. So this is like a crazy crochet sort of sleeves. They're attached by sort of like a strap thing on my back. There's no pattern for it, and I don't know how to crochet. I also don't know how to knit. So this is literally just making like these single crochet stitches. And like you just start out somewhere, you start with like a little loop, and then you just do a next one, or maybe I have to start it like this, and then you just do like that. Like there's no like reason to it. You just go like that, and some of them are bigger than others. But it looks pretty cool, I think. It's very difficult to see the effect now because I'm wearing this black tights underneath it, but you can see sort of stuff here. And I've actually still got it out of like everything that I've shown in these videos. I think this is one of the few, possibly the only things I've still got. And I wore it recently. This top is a sleeveless, like stretched, crushed velvet top. It's not very well made because you can see it's sort of capping the shoulder a little bit too much. I should have maybe cut it more like this. And this stretch, like thin stretch fabrics, tends to kind of curl inward like that. Like you can see that here too. So this was, yeah, kind of just a simple top that looks okay, but could have been finished better. And the skirt is like a tight fitting skirt that is slightly wider at the bottom, but not that wide. Again, like you can't cycle in this. Made of black fabric with black quilted fabric decorative panels. So there's a panel here in the front with the zipper, and then there's a panel on each side just for decorative reasons. And then there's silver color vinyl material that I used as to create kind of like a band, just to provide like a contrast, you know, between the different black bits. But it's not very well done. You can see like this could have done so much better. But yeah, when you're rushing, you're usually not doing things to the best of your abilities. So I've since stopped rushing things, and now on the rare occasion I do make garments, I take more time now. And there's a decorative sort of flappy bit on the front with a D-ring, so you can attach these straps to it. On the right hand side is this corset that I made. I think I showed it in the first video. So this is when I only had access to this Rigiline plastic boning, the stuff that you stitch in. This bra I bought, so this is a black leather bra with I think like chrome plated like metal half cups. If anybody wants this bra, let me know, because I've still got it. Sadly, there's a bit of like damage from like storage and humidity, but the cups are still good, these chrome plated cups. So if anybody wants these, let me know. And I'm wearing a skirt that I made myself. So this is a short black PVC skirt, and on the front it actually dips a little bit like that, the shape, and then the bottom part is gathered here like onto this top part to create sort of a wider mini skirt. And I'm wearing platform boots and some goggles, like this industrial kind of steampunk goggles. They were really cool. And I'm wearing also a really cool watch that sadly just so it's here, like I wore it so much that it just broke. And the cool part of the appeal was that the straps were really awesome. So they had like metal hardware and decorative sort of screws on the top, like the hinge bit, and it just looked awesome. It was a gift from my dad. Here you can see 3 different outfits. I'll try to kind of quickly go over them. So on the left hand side is a store-bought top, which I stitched this aluminum panels to with decorative bolts, like nuts and bolts. This corset top I made with my dad, and I think it's aluminum as well. So my dad has like all these crazy kind of power tools for all of his hobbies, so he helped me make these things. The skirt's difficult to see, but it's a black fabric skirt with circular shaped cutouts on the hips, and then with large cutouts on the side. So it's essentially a flap in the front and a flap in the back. There's a D-ring here, and there will be one somewhere here. In the center is a blue velvet top and skirt. The sleeve here is a straight down up to about the elbow, and then this I think is essentially like a full circle when you just put this flat, and there's black satin lining on the inside. This is that corset style top that does not have any lacing or boning, out of black PVC, and then just a plain kind of velvet skirt, like an A-line sort of skirt with a satin skirt underneath. On the right hand side is an outfit I made for a club night called goth, which used to happen, I don't know actually how often, if it was like 4 times a year, something like that, in an artist village just north of Amsterdam called Ruigoord. And it's a church, the venue, and it was pretty awesome. So I created this outfit for that club night. So this is like a sort of medieval inspired outfit with a wide sleeve, with satin lining here, lacing as a closure on the front, and a long skirt that's like gathered here on the panels on the front to create this sort of draping. This was very warm. I would recommend something more like lightweight for clubbing. And so I'm from an area quite far from Amsterdam, so we drove there with some friends. So this guy here was our ride. I forgot his name because it's such a long time ago, but it was a really good night. Like, it was a crazy venue, like so good. I think they stopped doing that goth night there quite a while ago, but it was really good. I'm going to quickly go through this this one because the video is already quite long. Again, this is my bedroom. And here are 2 quite similar outfits, so I did reuse the same pattern quite a lot. So this is this princess line top. This is a short sleeves, bias binding on the hems, the edge of the sleeve. It's quite high neckline, and then there's this hook and loop fastening, the stuff that you have on the bra, on the back of the bra. You can buy that on a roll, just meters of it, and just stitch it in. So that's quite fun. With this is dark blue, some type of satin probably like synthetic or mostly synthetic, really wide skirt gathered in the waist, and there's a hoop skirt underneath it. And on the left-hand side is a similar type of outfit, but with probably the first corset I made. This has the stitch-in boning, which again I told you I'm not a fan of, but it was all I had. And this was also before I was able to buy a busk, those metal hooks. So this is just a zipper. But it was all like really good experience, you know, just learning to sew more and getting more confidence. And yeah, I've never worn this outfit. This is a black, well, this is actually a white fabric that's printed black with white polka dots on it. And yeah, with this sort of wide sleeve, and there's lining or like a second layer of sleeve in black with lace. It's not that special, to be honest. It's a bit plain. I think if I were to add like loads of embellishments or some kind of themed embellishments, I think this would be really fun. So it's kind of like a good base outfit to do more with. On the final two things, this is a bag I made out of materials that I was given. So this black stuff is like a full circle, same on this side. It's really thick vinyl, so I used hole punch pliers to cut just a bunch of holes in it. And this fabric is some kind of synthetic, is my guess, quite coarsely woven material. I think it's sort of semi-industrial use. I don't know what for. And I create like, yeah, sort of like a pan-shaped bag, really, like a disc-shaped bag. And there's a zipper obviously here. And then I attach these plastic vinyl pieces here to the side. Again, I've never used it, but it was a good practice. The outfit on the right I made from an old curtain. So this blue velvet used to be a really tall curtain in our hallway. So when we moved in, that curtain was still there. I think it's sort of there to keep the heat in, you know. So this is all I could make out of that. So it's a long sleeve top with lace decorative elements. The cuff is actually quite fun, so it's like a sort of straight sleeve, and then with just decorative band and like long gathered lacing. And this lace, I think, was like a whole roll, you know, not like a ribbon, but it was just a whole sheet of fabric, you know, so you can cut out the exact size you want. And the skirt is gathered here at the front to kind of bulge over the skirt, like the underskirt, and there's a hoop skirt under it as well. I think I wore this to like a school dance, which I don't think I attended for long because it was definitely not my music. So this is the end of part 2 of 2, showing you the photos I took to my art school application over 20 years ago. I have a website where you can find what I'm working on right now, and I also have a blog attached to it where you can see yeah, what I'm working on, and also some like how-to kind of things. If you have a request, you know, for me to show you how to do certain things, let me know. I can tell you now that I haven't made any courses in years, and I have no plans to do so. So that's not something I'll be able to do a video on anytime soon. I'm also on Instagram, and I'm also on Facebook. So yeah, you can find me all over the internet. Thanks for watching, and yeah, do share your insights and comments on goth fashion from, you know, back in the day. Did you make anything? Did you buy clothes and alter them yourself, or did you just really enjoy shopping? And if so, where did you shop? Thanks for watching.